I was the only son in the family. So I always had this idea that I will head home. Like when you compare India and China, that the Chinese businesses do well because of the government. Indian businesses do well in spite of the government. The people who end up making a lot of money from these ideas are very respected. In our country, unfortunately, it's the reverse. You see what I'm saying? ज़्यादा पैसा हुआ मतलब you must have done something really wrong. Like SEBI has come up with a study which shows that 98% of the people lose 99% of their money within 90 days in F&O. So we started reprocessing steel scrap. Now 1 ton of steel scrap takes about roughly 800 units of electricity. So if I am selling reprocessed steel 1 ton, basically I am fundamentally selling 800 units of electricity. But when you are starting to earn 10,000 rupees instead of 1,000 rupees, suddenly your mobile is outdated, your car is too cheap. I had a friend, very, very dear friend. His name is Mr. Narendra Tibriwal. I still believe he was the sharpest mind in my town.
Alright, so today we've got someone who's got his foot in a ton of different worlds. He calls himself a man of metals and petals. The man himself, Chiranjeet Baruah. So buckle up because in this movemental episode, we're diving into the mindset of a man who's always looking to make the next big move. So to begin with, sir, from studying engineering in Assam to walking the halls of Virginia Tech, your journey has spanned continents. Looking back, did you ever imagine that path and how did those early academic years shape the entrepreneur that you are today?
Uh, I was the only son in the family. Okay, so I always had this idea that I will head home, and I was very, very clear about a few things in my life. Like I was always interested in doing a master's. So from engineering, I went for MBA. Then I was very clear that I would be working for 2 years for experience, and I worked for Gooda Tire Company. Now that company has about 80 factories in 40 countries. So when they asked me, where do you want to go? I straight away, without hesitation, I want to go to India. So I came and I worked in Dalal, where they have a plant. That's in Haryana. I worked for almost exactly for 2 years, just that I had planned. And without a thought in my mind, what I will do next, I just headed home. And that is how, I started thinking of now what to do. And there were some events that were fortunate. My father was a businessman, so I was still earning. So there was no pressure on me that I had to immediately start earning. So that was by grace
That
of
is one
God.
thing a lot of people face कि तब वो उतने options से open नहीं होते कि
Yeah. A lot of people say that everybody should go for business and then job में नहीं होता है. But then circumstances are different for different people. And there are pressures for different people. I would not say that just walk on my footsteps or everybody has his own cloth to cut. Okay. So that is how I ended up in business.
Wow. Great story to begin with. So, as you already mentioned, the academic journey. Now, this is the most anticipated question. I feel because everyone wants to know the story behind ferroalloys. That how did it begin in Upper Assam for you? What led you to the bold step of using gas turbines? And educate us more in this field, please.
I have to tell you a little bit. So initially, that was not my business.
Okay.
The first business that I did was I started making jute bags for tea.
Jute bags for tea, wow.
Yeah, and that was the time when the tea industry was shifting from wooden chests. Tea used to originally go in wooden crates, and because of the environmental issues and all that, and since jute was renewable, so they wanted to go for jute, and it was picking up. And at that time, there was nobody in Assam who was making jute tea bags. So I was the first manufacturer of jute tea bags. I did it for about 4 or 5 years. And at that time, the tea industry was doing very well. But as we progressed and as more and more small tea growers came into the market, the production of tea increased, and I believe there was a supply glut, and the finances became stretched, payments became long. So I thought, maybe it is time to quit. So I quit. And then we went to cable TV.
Achha,
Because I was jumping here and there.
you have a
cable.
long background to it.
Yeah,
Wow.
cable TV. Now, at that time, every gully used to have its own cable station, and everybody used to be showing about 5-6 channels. That's all. So I and my friend thought, why not have a central control room where we take all the channels, increase our portfolio to about 28 to 30, and then connect all the small cable operators.
Okay. So is it like an MSO thing that you're talking about?
Kind of.
Okay.
So we did it, and we were the third in India.
Wow.
The first was by Hindusas in Bombay. Second was by this GTV people in Jalandhar. And my friend said, if these people are getting into this business, probably this business is the correct business to get into. So I said, okay, I agreed. And then I was in cable TV for about 7-8 years, I think. And one day, I and my friend were in Delhi. And we just happened to meet the CMD of Oil India Limited. Oh. And he is a very, very, he is no more now, but he is a he was a very dynamic person. He was actually a giant in our community. He's a guy who started his work in IOC, then headed IOC, then went into oil. He became the CMD. And then after Assam agitation, when the agreement was signed, there was supposed to be a refinery in Assam. He was made the head. He spearheaded the industry, and then NRL came into being, Numaligarh Refinery, and I believe it is one of the most profitable refineries in the country. So we met him. And he said, at that time, he was the CMD of Oil India Limited. Wow. And then I said, sir, can we hope to get an allocation of natural gas? Okay. So, is that so? He says. What do you have in mind? I remember exact word. Young man, what do you have in your mind? So we talked for about 30 minutes. And he says, okay, done. I will give it. Just send me an application tomorrow and I'll approve it tomorrow itself. And when he said, what are you going to do it? I said, we have 3-4 options and we will think about it. The first thing was gas is a source of energy. So we should take gas and we will convert it to electricity and then we'll sell it to ACB. Yeah. Then I just talked with my partners and I said, I told my friend, see, we have only one supplier of gas and we have only one customer, which is ACB. And that is not a very nice thing, nice thing to do, You will be sandwiched by both. Yeah. So at least on one side we should have open. Gas, there is no other alternative. We have to get it from oil. So I told them that instead of selling electricity, why don't we sell some product which takes a lot of electricity to make? Okay. So we started reprocessing steel scrap. Now 1 ton of steel scrap takes about roughly 800 units of electricity. So if I am selling reprocessed steel 1 ton, basically I am fundamentally selling 800 units of electricity. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Then the idea came, if you 800 for a ton, why not more? Then we started trying to, I started searching for things that takes more electricity to make, and that was ferrosilicon. Yeah. Now there are other things also like copper and aluminum refining, but those are really big games. Yeah. I mean, you cannot think of any copper refining or aluminum refining for less than 200-300 crores. And this was something that we could just reach, like an investment of 10-15 crores. We pull our funds, we take the loan, and probably we could do it. And that is how we went into ferrosilicon. Wow. Basically, 1 ton of ferrosilicon takes about 8,000 units. We were talking about 800 units in scrap, and in ferrosilicon, 8,000 units. That's a zero. So we added a zero. We started selling. Basically, we are selling electricity. Yeah. But it is in the form of a product.
Wow. So yeah, this is
Okay. That was the basic concept behind going into ferrosilicon.
ferrosilicon. So
Yeah.
it did not really start with the idea of ferrosilicon.
No,
it
no,
turned
no.
out to be
That
one.
turned out to be
Turned
better.
out to be
Yeah.
one. But yeah, that I'm sure required a genius mindset. Wow. Moving on to the next, you have worked with some really sharp minds, folks from IITs, BITS, global institutes. So, was there somebody who really left a very big impression on you?
Oh yes.
Somebody
Oh
inspired
yes.
you?
Oh yes. Without any hesitation, I can say that I had a friend, very, very dear friend. Unfortunately, he passed away about 2, 3 years ago. His name is Mr. Narendra Tibriwal, and he was a chartered accountant. I still believe he was the sharpest mind in my town. And, we used to talk, we used to chat for hours on end. And I did learn a lot of things from him. He was one of the calmest, coolest, and the sharpest mind. You go to him with a problem, you think about the problem, you think about the solution for 2, 3 days, and the moment you tell him the problem, he will find a new angle immediately almost. So he was a very, very big influence in my life.
I'm sure, like going offbeat on this, but I've seen my dad praise two people in his entire life. Like he's very like he has a very critical mindset about everybody.
Not easy to praise.
Not easy to please. I'm sure you know it better than anybody. So two people he has praised and always spoken so good of is one is you and the other is.
And in fact, I met your father through Narendra Tibriwal only.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he has mentioned the story before. Yeah. So now moving on next from ferrosilicons, molten metal to muddy hands. What made you get into nurseries? Was it a
Nursery
sudden
is
spark?
flower is a passion for me. Not only
Metals
for,
and petals.
not only for me. Probably it's a little bit genetic also. My mother was an avid gardener. My father was also a gardener. Both my grandparents on both sides were gardeners. My mama was continuously the best gardener in IOC Digboy for about 20-21 years.
Wow.
Consecutively, And fortunately, I met somebody who was also very, very passionate about flowers.
Yeah.
And then we used to, whenever we go abroad or we go to some place, we always used to make it a point to visit some nurseries or some arboretum, arboretum. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's basically a botanical garden kind of a thing. We used to go to botanical gardens, and then sometimes we felt very bad because we see the products there. And we see the products that our nursery sells.
Yeah.
Basically, you have a plant in soil, in a plastic bag, and the soil is hard like rock, and the plant is just not there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started discussing that maybe our people also deserve better products than that. So we started something, which was radically different. We started to learn the culture of each and every plant that we do. There are a lot of nuances, a lot of niceties, a lot of finer points. We mastered those. We made a lot of mistakes. There was a learning curve. And finally, we are in a position where we are, as long as our plants are concerned, like chrysanthemums we grow, kalansos we grow, impatiens we grow, people generally accept that our plants are the best.
Yeah.
So that is how, we are in the flower business. And this is a business that I really love. It's not a very big money kind of a business, but there's a lot of happiness in it.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of passion is involved there as well. So, like, is it just in Assam or, is it?
We have a branch in Chandigarh also.
Chandigarh also. Okay.
Yeah, there is a breed of chrysanthemum called the multiflora.
Okay.
And we were the first ones to grow.
Achha.
And when the product first appeared, people were really shocked.
Okay.
Because it was an entirely new product in an entirely different form. Generally, chrysanthemums, the plant grows there for 10-15 flowers in the top. But this plant had like 1,000 flowers. Yeah. And, you do not see the leaves. Yeah. So that was really a shocker. Mm-hmm. And that is still our flagship product. That you talk. It is not as profitable as some of the other plants that we grow. But we cannot not grow that plant because it is our identity. Yeah.
So you really think people know you for
we first became known all over India for that plant only.
Wow.
Yeah, because we were the first to grow in India.
Wow.
And for the first 5-6 years, nobody could grow. Now people have started learning, yeah. But our product, I still believe, is the number one.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lesson to learn from this as well. You should not forget your roots.
Not forget your
roots.
Roots,
That
yeah.
you started off there. Wow. So, also, you mentioned we've already, started our discussion. Also, already mentioned two industries. Every success story also has a lot of setbacks. Can you tell us a few challenges you have faced along the way, or maybe some time when you had to shift land, faced a production issue, or hit a rough patch in any of these businesses?
Unfortunately, the biggest setbacks are always from the government.
Okay. So we have a catch in that.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, like when you compare India and China, that the Chinese businesses do well because of the government.
Yeah.
Indian businesses do well in spite of the government. Okay. So, if you are familiar with the game of golf, golf is set up with a lot of traps, right? Businesses like that in India. You have so many traps, and invariably you will fall into those traps many a time. And almost 80% of your energy is wasted in getting out of that trap. Simple things like even getting GST registration is an uphill task. Okay. They will very pompously give you a list of things they will need, and then each thing is a hurdle to be
done.
Hurdle to be crossed.
The businesses should be something, जितना promote करती है government, वो उतना easy to be set भी होना चाहिए.
ऐसा ही है किसी, I mean, somehow, I have this feeling that, see, in some industrialized countries, there were, tinkerers, people who used to tinker in their garages and those kind of things. And then some of the smart guys ended up inventing some stuff, and they patented stuff, and then they made big businesses out of them. There are some things that started in the kitchen, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It started in the kitchen. They patented their formula, and it became a global business. But those things don't happen in our country.
It's difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Otherwise, and that is why probably in those countries, the people who end up making a lot of money from these ideas are very respected. Okay, very respected. The more money you have, means more successfully you have, is, it conveys that feeling that probably you must have done something really worthwhile. That is why you are so rich. In our country, unfortunately, it's the reverse. You see what I'm saying? ज़्यादा पैसा हुआ, मतलब you must have done something really wrong. Okay. Totally. Here the formula is, no fortune comes without a crime. So the bigger money you have, the sooner you become rich, you must have done some really big applaudi, So that is the kind of thing. And see, the government also comes from the people only. Government to upar se nahi aata hai na. The politicians don't come from the sky. They are from us only. So they carry this feeling that all these rich people are sinners. And that is why they do not have any qualms about creating these obstacles.
Makes sense. Yeah, that was a very, lightning.
So that is my understanding. I might be wrong. But that is how, I think about these things.
Yeah, at least you have an opinion on it.
I have an opinion.
Blame karne se to...
Abhi, you see, it's very unfortunate, even if you, the general attitude is, if he is rich, he must be a chore. And unfortunately, most of the times it is also. Right.
Like, should we just make it controversial? Do you want to start naming?
No. Definitely I am not naming names. Generally, how do politicians, there are a lot of rich politicians.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Totally makes sense. So, the word on the street, as they say, is
The word?
the word on the street. The
Ah.
word on the street
Ah.
is you've always said that there are only two real ways to make money, which is farming and F&O trading. And what's the deal with this mantra? How did
That is very, very, that is very specific to this country. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
See, F&O trading is basically a mind game.
Hmm.
Okay, you have to be really smart to make money from
Yeah.
F&O. Like SEBI has come up with a study which shows that 98% of the people lose 99% of their money within 90 days in F&O. Okay, so you are basically pitted against the smartest of the smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very difficult to make money. Even if you make money, it's clean money. You're paying tax, you're paying transaction tax, you are paying all kinds of SEBI taxes, and there's nothing hidden there.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. Second thing is farming, because it's also a very noble trade. And the biggest thing is there's no tax there, no GST, no income tax.
Yeah.
All you need is the skill to turn your land into profit. Right? Like I was, in my work in Punjab, I have seen that the land is taken by some farmers on lease.
Yeah.
There are some people, see, in Punjab, land holdings are pretty big, okay, not like us. So there are people, they have 3 sons, all of them are abroad, they have like about 60 acres of land. Who will do the farming? So they lease out the land. And the going rate, if I am not wrong, in Punjab is 35,000 rupees per acre per year.
Okay.
So suppose I am the lessor.
Yeah.
I am leasing the land I'm the lessee, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm leasing the land from you. You have 100 acres of surplus land that you don't intend to farm. So I will pay you 35,000 rupees per acre per year. I will do the farming. I will till the land. I will use tractors. I will pay for the diesel. I will pay for all the farming inputs. I'll buy the seeds. I'll do the farming. I'll harvest my produce. I'll sell it to the market. I'll bring the money back. I will pay you at 35,000 for 100 acres. It will be 35 lakhs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Per year.
And then I will cover all my costs. And after that, the lessee, he buys a BMW.
So the kind of money involved.
Yeah. See, I'm coming to that. Now, what I did was, I looked at the agricultural land area in Dhemaji district. Okay. And it is from a government website. It's not some fancy number. Yeah. It's a government website. I found that this is the hectares or acres of agricultural land in the district of Dhemaji. Now I thought that let's do an arithmetic. Suppose all this land is leased out to farmers who are as enterprising as the farmers in Punjab. Yeah. So they will be also paying 35,000. Okay. They at least have to pump water from 100 feet. We don't have that problem here. Yeah. So it should be cheaper here. Yeah. Cost of agriculture. Yeah. So if every landholder in Dhemaji district gets 35,000 rupees per acre, the annual payment to landholders of Dhemaji district will work out to be 250 crores. And that is every year.
That's a big money involved, yeah.
250 crores. Okay. Now think about the farmers of Dhemaji district getting 250 crores by adding value to their land instead of leasing it out. Yeah. So if the lessee can pay 35,000, definitely they can do it, they can earn, the potential is more than 35,000. Just because our land holdings are smaller, we cannot use those bigger machines, which makes farming viable. That is why that kind of money we don't see. And that is very tragic. Now, if you take the agricultural land of entire Assam, I mean, it will be something mind-boggling.
Yeah, so
that kind of money we are missing out.
But like, can we do something to change it? Like, could there be a
See,
suggested
there
approach
was
to it?
if you see our cadastral map, land sizes are all irregular.
Yeah.
ठीक है ना? And then farmers, most of the farmers, you will have 12 बीघा. और उसका भी ऐसा है कि 2 बीघा यहाँ है, 3 बीघा उधर है. Now, if you have 8 बीघा, that is the average land holding in Assam, na?
Yeah.
8 बीघा.
8 bighas is enough.
Now, 8 बीघा, suppose you want to do agriculture in the off season, your fencing cost will itself become prohibitive.
Yeah.
Then you will have to pump out water. Suppose your land is in the middle of the field. What will you do? Will you keep the pump there? Will it remain there in next morning? So all those things are there. So what Punjab did was they passed an act and they regularized the land
holding
shapes.
Okay.
One plot is 1 acre. And if you look at the cadastral map of Punjab's agricultural land, it looks like a graph paper.
Wow.
All
aligned.
Yeah. So it is easy to lease out. It is, now otherwise, if you have irregular, how can you employ your big tractors?
Yeah.
Because you will be cutting corners all the time, right? Here it is all straight. And that happened in 1949.
In Punjab?
Yeah. In 49 they started and in 52 they finished.
Aligning the
everything. But here it is not done till now. Now I asked a very experienced person, actually a retired judge of Punjab, who had seen that entire process. He says, see, at that time, India was freshly independent. There was a great nationalistic feeling. There was only one party, that was the Congress.
Yeah.
Even then we had problems with this.
Yeah.
But now, just forget about it. This will not happen. I said, will it not happen at all? Then he told me that time, it happened top down.
Yeah.
It was enforced by the government.
The government, yeah.
Here it can happen now it can only happen bottom up.
Bottom down.
If like 4, 5, 10 farmers get progressive enough, they get together, they consolidate their land and come to a size of about like 100 acres, then they can employ big machines and have the irrigation, have a guard room, all those kind of things can be done. This can happen only bottom up, and there needs to be, the country needs some agricultural entrepreneurs to make that happen. Okay?
You push it off.
Yeah, to make that happen. Or the government can do. The government can, adopt a village.
Yeah.
Let us go through this model.
Totally.
Yeah, those things, but nobody thinks of those things.
Makes sense. Also, sir, we got a really good insight on this. Like, moving back to the FNO thing, I have seen a lot of youngsters come across with this notion कि वो घर पे जब बोलते हैं कि FNO trading करना है, उनको जवाब मिलता है नहीं, FNO gambling है, FNO जुआ है. So, this is again a stereotypical notion that I've seen a lot of people face. Would you want to address that along with this?
See, FNO, it depends on how you handle it. Okay. How you handle it. If it is, if you take it as a business, then if you take it as a business, you should think about an ROI. Right? If you think about an ROI, then you should think of a reasonable ROI. Yeah. Now, if you take up the balance sheet of Reliance even, do they make an ROI of 40%? No. It's at the most 10, 20, 15, maybe, I don't know. But it would be like that only. Now, if you go into the FNO thing, thinking that tomorrow you will be a millionaire, then it's gambling. But if you structure your strategy in such a way that you are happy with making about 2% per month or 2.5% per month, which is very, very good. Yeah. Okay, it is very, very good. Then it is a business. It carries risk like any other business. Yeah. Every business has a risk.
Has a risk.
Every business can go kaput. Your money can just disappear. Yeah. But if you have a structured way, you do your money management well. If I lose in any trade, I will lose only 1% or 0.5%, not more than that. You have the discipline to pull out of the trade when that exceeds, not just sitting there hoping, the market will turn over. वो कभी नहीं होता है. So that way, it is business. The other way, you have only like 5-10,000 in the pocket. हाँ बाइनरी एक सोच लिया ऊपर गया तो बन गया नीचे गया तो बस हाँ that way it is gambling.
Yeah, that is gambling. Yeah, truly. Matlab, you can't just forget the money that you put.
No, you cannot approach it in that way. It's not a quick ticket to wealth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
FNO is not a quick ticket to wealth.
Yeah, makes sense. Chalo, with all this, discussions happening, we'll just move on to a very quick game now, that we've planned specially for you. We know you're not one to hold back, especially on Facebook. So here's the game, here's how this game works. I'll read out a few snippets, like, one-liners of things you've posted over these years, and you tell us,
I generally take down my controversial things.
No, but we have a few ones in our feed. So and you need to tell us whether you still stand by it 100%, you want to edit it a little, or you totally take it back.
Okay,
No dodging, no disclaimers, just raw
okay.
opinions as we expect from you. So the first one, give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Is this
This is a saying by some great Greek. I
Okay.
forget his name.
Okay.
Should I elaborate?
So as you want to.
Oh, okay. See, in the US Army, they will never recruit you if your IQ is less than 81. I think 81 or 83.
Huh.
Okay. They will never recruit you. Why? Because they say that anybody who has an IQ of less than 81 or 83, whichever
Yeah.
it is, they are not just trainable. They are just not trainable. And they will end up harming the organization that hires them. ठीक है ना?
And you can't afford to harm
Yeah.
them.
Now, what would you think the percentage of people with less than IQ of 83 would be in our country?
So probably 70%.
Okay. Then 70%. Okay. So 70% in democracy is majority, na?
Yeah. I just assumed it to be so.
Yeah, see, now we are going on a very dangerous slope, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, 70% would be like,
So, but correct me if I'm wrong. What is the number?
I will not say.
Please, please.
Nobody has done a exhaustive study.
Yeah.
But somebody somewhere found out, so it is written. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it is true or false.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was a scientific thing or not. That is the disclaimer. But I found out that the average IQ of India is 71. Okay. Most probably it is wrong.
Yeah.
But if it is true, it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is scary. Okay. Now, what was the question that?
So
Yeah. Now, what do you do with those people?
Yeah.
I mean, would they be making a very good decision about selection of people who should lead our country?
Not surprising.
No. Yeah. So you have to keep them busy, no?
Yeah. Answers the question.
That is the thing. It might be right, it might be wrong. It's just a statement.
So we're
you know.
just, we are not,
Yeah,
quoting
yeah.
anything. We're
Yeah,
just,
yeah. But see, this is
stating
the
it
thing,
as that.
I'm being very honest with my thoughts.
Yeah, no. I'm sure
Okay.
you are. That is why, we are loving this discussion with us. So, yeah, we'll now just quickly move on to the next. Swachh, Bharat and Gutka don't go together.
Yeah, never. It does not go together.
Yeah.
You have seen your flyovers,
Yeah.
right? Swachh Bharat and Gutka. Like I will tell you, in this country, in our state, somebody thought it was wise to ban those 100 ml mineral water bottles,
yeah.
because they pollute, right? Okay. Yeah. For every bottle, I'm telling you, for every bottle that is sold, there must be 100 Gutka packets which are sold. So why are we banning this and keeping that alive?
Sure.
It is not good for health.
So, yeah.
It is dirtying up the places. The small things are going to the drain and clogging. And then we shout about all this artificial rain and artificial floods and all that. So we should be earnest in our thing now. Swachh Bharat was a national mission, right?
Yeah. We see lifts maybe. All
so
those
unnecessary. Why are you keeping that unnecessary thing, which is not good for health, which is not good for anything?
Yeah.
Whereas it is dirtying up the whole place and polluting.
And banning the.
Yeah, but then क्या
So,
बोले अभी?
one very interesting, thing that you posted to keep your marriage brimming with love and loving.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up.
There is a poet in USA, is Ogden Ness. He writes short poems,
Okay.
2-liners, 4-liners, like that. I really love his poems. I even had a book. So that thing is from him.
Okay.
That is from him. It's like, another poem I can tell you is, strange bird is a pelican. Its beak can hold more than its belly can. That kind of poem.
Wow, short and smart. Wow. So next, they messed up the whole town to lay pipes for water we didn't even need. Urban planning or just planned chaos?
When we were putting up the ferrosilicon plant, we hired a consultant from Kerala. We met him in Calcutta. And then he asked me, do you have a problem of water in your place? I said, yeah, we do have. Well, then how can you put up a ferrosilicon plant? Because the water will be needed in cooling. I said, why? We will give you water. But he says that, you just told me you have a water problem. I said, yeah. Overabundance is the problem. Scarcity is not the problem. In Dibrugarh, everybody has a tubewell. Everybody has a pump. 12 feet, we'll get water. Okay? Yeah. And you are digging up, you first make the roads like typical of our place. Nobody has no coordination with anybody else. First, the PWD makes the road, and then these guys come and dig up the whole thing, mess up the whole thing, lay the pipes. Okay, and pipes. Nobody needs water from the government. We all have our own water. So why do you, in fact, I wrote this also, that these pipes should be used, the pumps should be reversed, and these pipes should be used to evacuate water from the town whenever there is a flood. That would be a better utility for those utilization of that resource. As a drainage system. And kind of money they are spending. So something, there are 2 pipes in front of my house to give me water. I have 2 pumps in my house. That pipe is like that for the last 1 year. Okay, and we will never take water. We have 2 pumps in our house. There's an abundance of water. Very nice water with a total dissolved solids of about 140, 160 ppm, which is considered to be a very good water. Very good number, yeah. Okay, we don't even need an RO plant. So when we have that, why do you spend, I don't know how many crores they have spent till now. One very bold statement that you made was, wealth is income minus ego. Yeah. So, how strongly do you stand by it? I earn 1 lakh rupees. Yeah. I earn probably 1 crore rupees. See, what is wealth? According to me, what is wealth? Wealth is income minus expense. ठीक है ना? You earn 1,000 rupees. You spend 900 rupees. ठीक है ना? And that 100 rupees you save in the bank. That is the wealth. Right. But when you are starting to earn 10,000 rupees instead of 1,000 rupees, then you think of buying some extravagant thing. If you start making 1 lakh rupees, or if you start making 10 lakh rupees a month, suddenly your mobile is outdated. Your mobile is outdated. Your car is too cheap. All those things come. So those are both. See, initially when we were earning 1,000 rupees, you were spending 900. Those 900 mostly were in necessity. Now you're starting to spend money on things that boost your ego. Okay. So that is how I'm saying. Yeah, totally makes sense. So again, one more bold statement. This country is full of monks wanting Ferraris. Yeah. She was reading a book. My wife was reading a book, The Monk and the Ferrari. Yeah. Okay. And then I saw in the Facebook itself, I saw a Baba posing in front of a newly acquired luxury car. that thing came to my mind, like.
Yeah. We got the clear picture that you're talking about. Yeah. Wow. So, again, one more thing. I am so happy we Indians do not use toilet paper. Would have been such a waste of resources.
Yeah.
Still glad we don't flush those billions down the drain.
Yeah, see, when the COVID came,
Yeah.
and supplies from all the places were coming to a standstill. Like I said, I have a friend in USA. The first thing he headed for was toilet papers, and the stores were out of toilet papers. Okay. Then I told him, it's good that we don't use toilet paper. I mean, they cut down 50 million trees for toilet papers, or 5 million trees for toilet papers. At least we are not doing that,
Yeah.
right? So that is why I wrote, the annual turnover of toilet papers in USA is more than the revenue of Indian Railway.
Okay, like I'm not good with the
You see,
numerical facts, but
the amount, the total sales of toilet paper is more than the
the
revenue
of Indian
Railways.
Railways.
So just
With
imagine.
Indian Railways contributing a lot to
Yeah, Indian Railway used to have a
money,
separate budget, right?
Exactly.
So then you can think about the scale. And then the next thing is that, oh, good that we don't use it.
Yeah. Wow. So,
But then, funny thing I'll tell you.
yeah.
It's just an offshoot. It just came to my mind.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
please. This is what...
That entire sales of toilet paper is missing from our GDP, right? So, if you want to, if you want to increase the GDP, start using toilet paper.
So now you change the statement. You finally change.
It will be, since we have 3 times the population, 5 times the population of USA, it will add 5 more railway budgets to the GDP.
That's a very good statistical answer. So now you have edited it. According to the game, you edit your statement. Now it's not good that we don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So, with so much knowledge about land and, farming that you said, Marti Dalali needs regulations like any other brokerage.
Yeah.
Still standing by your
Yes. Generally, when you say Dalal, Dalal has a word of, it has a bad connotation, right? Oh, the Salah Dalal. That is the generally accepted scenario.
Yeah.
But see, you need Dalals everywhere. What is Amazon? It's a Dalal.
Yeah.
Okay, what is SEBI? What is the stock, the NSE?
Just channelizing it.
There are services. There are people who can offer that service, and there are people who needs that service. They need to meet through an intermediary.
Yeah.
Now, if you let that intermediary do whatever he wants, he'll try to milk both. There will be no regulation, nothing. If you don't have any regulation or anything like that, those people will go on a rampage. So that is why I say, it is not that we don't need Mati Dalals. Everybody needs Mati Dalals. But they should be regulated.
Yeah. They have to have some regulation. Like generally rent pe agar kuch bhi flats lete hain,
see, if you want, now suppose suppose I work in Gooda and I'm getting transferred to Bharat.
Yeah.
I need a 2-bedroom. Do you think I will just go gully and try to find?
You'll find a broker.
Yeah, I'll find a broker.
Yeah.
And that broker will charge me a fee. And he has earned that fee.
Yeah.
Because he has made my job so easy.
By giving you.
Yeah. But then if you don't regulate him, then he can take me for a ride.
Yeah.
And he can take the owner for a ride also.
Yeah. So there has to be better.
Some regulation. But Dalal is not a bad word. It is a service giver who we have a lot of need for.
Understood.
That is my position.
Yeah. Totally agree. So, one thing that, I had mentioned to you in a conversation before this as well, that you had mentioned that all my friends, like I quote it, all my friends and contemporaries are nearing retirement and now at the peak of their careers. In some cases, I've seen arrogance and Sala mein to sahab ban gaya attitude. I will give it 2 more years and let the Sala mein to irrelevant ban gaya CP. So, you had mentioned it in 2021. I
Yeah.
think we are in 2025, 2 years
Yeah.
have passed by.
2021, 2021, I was about 59, 60.
Yeah.
So all my contemporaries were also 59,
So you
60.
shouldn't have
That
revealed
was the
your age.
last few years of their career.
Yeah.
And they were all at the peak of their career. Somebody was there, somebody. And suddenly I saw, people not respond to my phone calls, people making snide remarks, like, see, any boss in India has a lot of yes men with him.
Huh.
So when everybody says yes, 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 he thinks he does not make any mistake.
Yeah.
He's always right. So always right goes to arrogance, right? So then one day something happened and I just wrote it.
Wait, but like did the irrelevance seem there?
Irrelevance is, like the moment you retire,
Yeah.
you're off a cliff. Your ego will come down. And then it take about 6 months, sometime, to realize that now I'm irrelevant.
Yeah,
So
because
that is why I wrote.
yeah, because the chair has more value than the person
Yeah,
himself.
see, people are respecting the chair, not you.
Yeah. Okay. Agree. Wow. So, sir, with
So I have
this.
to be careful what I write.
No. So, this is how we got some, enlightening content. Yes, definitely. So, continuing with farming, it's not the farmers that don't pay income tax, it's the government that doesn't tax them. Still a hot take or
No, because see, there was
towards
this
you.
farmer revolution, right?
Huh.
Farmer revolt or whatever you call it, Andolan.
Yeah.
There was happening, and I saw a lot of friends, writing that these people are too pampered, they are not paying income tax, and this, then that. And
The
definitely
freeloaders.
there are so many rich farmers, because I said, Punjab land holdings are very big. So they are not paying income tax. So I said, there's a difference. When you don't pay income tax, meaning you are evading income tax. This is not a case of evasion. The government does not tax farmers. If it is so rightful to tax farmers, why is the government not taxing them? They are not taxing them because, I will not tax you, you vote for me.
Yeah.
I scratch your back, you scratch my back.
mine.
Basically that.
Yeah.
That is why I wrote, The record should be straight. It is not that they are not paying taxes, it is that the government is not taxing them.
So what are they supposed to
obviously,
do?
why should they go and pay?
Yeah. So, before we let you go, we have to talk about the legendary annual picnics with your crew. We have heard a lot of them, that those stories have near myth status. What was really going on behind the scenes? Any unforgettable chaos, laughter?
Which one is
So, annual picnics with your friends that you used to have.
It's not an annual picnic, it's a weekly picnic.
It's a weekly picnic.
Huh? Yeah? No, I don't vote for it. Nothing. Picnic is, what I have a few friends.
See, I think she's right on this. The cycle picnic.
Cycle picnic.
Yeah, I think this is what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
cycle picnic. That was, we stopped doing that like for the last 10 years.
Okay.
But before that, it was a yearly thing. There's a bunch of guys.
They enjoy a lot.
We go on a cycle.
All bachelor.
All bachelors after getting married?
Only he married.
No, we go on a cycle. We take our own cycles.
No.
We make it a point not to take our wives. And then we go to the middle of the river, those small islands, sandy islands. And what happens there stays there. It doesn't come.
Like the movies that we see. So you don't get any insights on that?
No.
No problem, sir. So, with this, we come to an end of today's Mind Moves podcast. If you had to give one brutally honest, slightly savage piece of advice to the younger lot, especially those juggling startups, side hustles, and soul searching, what would it be?
Don't try to make money quickly. Okay. Unless you have a skill or a knowledge or exclusive something.
Mm-hmm.
Just copy pasting will not make you money.
Yeah.
Somebody is doing something successfully, so you just copy paste it. No. You have to have some skill, some knowledge, something that you can build on. And that alone can give you money. And that can alone give you satisfaction and success. That is and it does not come like you just order on Amazon and it will come day after tomorrow. No.
Yeah.
And the young people should really, really put their mind into acquiring some skill and some knowledge. Something that is not bookish, something that is practical, something that the society needs, something that adds value to people's life. Like we do flowers, we learn a lot of things, we are continuously learning, there's no end to learning. We try to grow a good plant that will go to somebody's house and brighten their lives. So that is the kind of, and for that, they reward me by giving me profit.
That patience is required.
Yeah, that patience is required. Yeah.
Totally. Wow.
Yeah.
So this we come to the end of Move Mentors podcast. Hope you enjoyed
I
being
enjoyed,
on
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
We were more than obliged to have you on board today.